we go. Welcome, everyone. We're so excited that you're joining us today. My name is Cheryl Logan, and I also have
Brooke Turson.
Yeah, so I can, again, see some of you. I know that we're all transitioning to this online setting right now. I hope that it's going well for you. We wish that we could see you guys on campus, but we know that we're doing everything possible to keep you safe and healthy, and we look forward to the day that we get to see you in the fall. But as we go through, we're going to provide you guys with some AU updates. We'll give you the opportunity to ask your questions. I know many of you did submit questions, but feel free as we go along. You have a little chat box on the bottom of your screen. If you just press chat, that'll give you the opportunity to ask myself or Brooke a question. It will be privately, so you don't have to worry about anybody else seeing that question. And then from there, we'll get to all of those at the end. We do have Jeff Alex from the Alumni Association here to share some more information with you guys toward the end of the program. But these Future Eagle Fridays, we're going to run them every single Friday throughout the month of April. So today we have Jeff, but next week we're going to have financial aid. So you can tune in to as many as you would like to. Keep learning some of those updates, seeing our really cool hype video to start the morning off. I know it always gets me really excited, so I hope that you guys enjoy seeing it too. But as we go forward, I'm going to turn it over to Brooke so he can share those special AU updates with you. And here we go.
Before that, Cheryl, I do want to share a message from our president, Dr. Carlos Campo, who's so gracious to have a video for us.
Students, this is Carlos Campo, president of Ashland University, welcoming you to Eagle Nation. I wish I could do it in person. I'm looking out on the quad right now and thinking it's far too quiet, but it won't be long before you're here experiencing what we call accent on the individual. It's a deep belief that we have at Ashland, and that is that there's no such thing as an average student, but instead each one of you was created for a purpose that only you can fulfill. We know that in the time that you'll be here, you'll be able to discern your life calling and thrive. And I can tell you that there are 50,000 Ashland alums out there in this community and beyond who are waiting to help you understand the power and the value of an Ashland University experience and degree. So we look forward to seeing you here on campus. But for now, welcome and have a great day.
We do thank Dr. Carlos Campo for doing that video. He's such an awesome president that we have here on our campus. He is, just like us, we're kind of super bummed that we could not have you guys on campus for Future Eagle Day. He is always a part of those days. So he wanted to make sure that he welcomed each and every one of you to our first virtual Future Eagle Friday that we're having here on campus. As a part of Future Eagle Day, we always provide updates to families and visitors just about things that are going on the Ashland campus. So we want to make sure we continue to do that for our students. So I'm just going to go through our PowerPoint a little bit and talk about some different things. Maybe you did or did not know about them, and they're happening on campus, but we want to make sure you get that information moving forward. The first one is, as many of you...
Brooke? There we go.
Yes, it is a great peace of mind for families from a cost standpoint. So the tuition portion of your overall cost to attend at Ashland will be locked in for 4 years as well. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic here in our country and even globally, we have actually extended our academic scholarships deadline until July 1st. So I know some of you were maybe thinking, I'm going to take the April ACT, I'm going to get a higher score, and I'm going to get more scholarship money at Ashland. Well, obviously you can't take that April ACT right now because they have canceled it. But you might be able to take a June or maybe even a July ACT. But that deadline has been extended until July 1. So please continue to take those tests. Send in new information to us from the ACT, maybe a higher score. We want to give you more scholarship money here at Ashland University. A couple of different academic programs at Ashland have started or are starting up in the fall of 2020. We want to make sure we share that with families and students as well. So I want to run through a couple of those. The first one is our manufacturing management program we have available through our College of Business and Economics. Really, it's a pretty cool degree. It gives students an opportunity to get really practical skill work through companies and organizations that are large manufacturing groups. So maybe some electrical work, some welding work, some press operations, those sorts of things. But it also gives students the opportunity to learn to manage employees underneath them. So it is a very unique degree to Ashland University. And it's something that we are hearing from companies and organizations that they don't have enough people that are qualified to lead and also do skill work at the same time. So we're offering that moving forward. Another one that we have available is our cybersecurity degree on campus that is starting in the fall of 2020. This degree is going to prepare students to enter the complex and fast-paced world of information security. Students will learn about items such as networking, cloud management, mobile security, digital forensics, ethical hacking, business, and cyber law. So it's very exciting, especially for the time that we live in with so much technology. Another degree that is starting in the fall of 2020 is our music industry degree. So students that have a music interest, but maybe want to go into the side of music retail, music products, management, events. It's also going to encompass some coursework within our College of Business and our digital and journalism and digital media, Department of Journalism and Digital Media on campus as well. So that is going to be very exciting. And the last one is certainly very applicable right now, and it's our public health degree that's going to start in the fall of 2022. You know, in the wake of COVID-19, our health professionals that are working on eliminating threats against global individuals, that's one that's going to be available on campus as well. So public health is going to be a fall of 2020 degree too. A couple of other updates as well. Many of you know about our Eagle Opportunity Program that we have for education-based majors here on campus. It is a full tuition scholarship program for students that do qualify. I'm going to ask that Cheryl shares the URL link in the chat to you guys that are interested maybe in the Eagle Opportunity Program here on campus. Please fill out the FAFSA as a part of that. Students that qualify for the Eagle Opportunity Program are going to be notified through our financial aid department. There have been some changes to the education-based majors. The Department of Education has renamed some different degrees that we have available. The first one used to be our early childhood education degree or intervention specialist. It's now tied together in a dual degree called our primary PK through 5 intervention specialist. So that's something our students can pursue starting in the fall as well. Our middle grades education will stay the same with 2 content areas, but now they actually have the opportunity, students have the opportunity to add intervention specialists to that middle grades education as well. So we are excited for them, and our College of Education continues to be one of the very best in the state of Ohio. Our athletic training program is resuming for the fall of 2020. I know we've had some interest from some students about pursuing athletic training. That is coming back to us. Most, if not all, around the country, athletic training programs are going to go to master's level coursework here soon. We are going to admit one more class for the fall of 2020 within our athletic training program here at Ashland University. Always like to update students and families on things that are happening on campus, and athletics certainly is a great campus culture type thing where everybody kind of rallies around it. So we do want to recognize those areas that have had unbelievable success the past couple of years or the past year, and also maybe some new things that are happening as well. Our national champions on campus, our indoor and outdoor men's track and field team, they don't get to defend their national championship this year, unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 outbreak, but we certainly wanted to recognize them and all the great individual and team achievements that they've had. On campus in the fall of 2020 is also our new stunt team. So students that are interested in competitive cheer, which is what stunt is, please contact our cheer and dance coach, Denise Farnsworth. She'll get in touch with you and kind of talk about that program. There is some scholarship of money available for our stunt team here on campus. Our women's basketball team was absolutely outstanding once again this year. They were 31-0, headed into the NCAA tournament, ranked number 2 in the country. And unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 outbreak, they canceled the NCAA tournament all throughout the divisions 1, 2, and 3. So they were not able to compete in the NCAA tournament this year. But we were certainly very proud of them. And then finally, wanted to recognize our baseball team for their last year's run to the College World Series. They did an absolutely outstanding job. So as a big part of Future Eagle Day is, you guys getting to meet your different classmates. Usually at the start of our day, we'll have what we call a Future Eagle activity, and you guys get to learn about other people's interests, where they're from, what are they interested in. Sometimes a lot of different friendships and maybe even students become like roommates during our Future Eagle activity. Well, during this time, it's difficult to stay connected, right? Well, we still want that to be a reality for you guys. And one of the biggest things that we're going to kind of push on our social media platforms moving forward is you guys that have committed to Ashland or really are considering Ashland and have come on a visit and gotten a t-shirt from us and those sorts of things. Well, please share those pictures with us moving forward. We have a number of different hashtags available for you to use. We'll make sure to broadcast them across social media. Join our AU Class of 2024 Facebook group. I know our office has been really very present on there recently, trying to engage with future Eagles. We want to hear from you. We want to know your likes, what you're interested in, all those good things. So please make sure to check that moving forward as well. You can always stay in contact with us as a university as a whole with our Ashland University Facebook page. Our Ashland University Twitter is available there as well. One thing I do want to add to this slide is our office's Twitter page is available too. It's at AU Admissions. On there, there's going to be so much relevant information for you guys through your next steps and what to expect the next couple of months. So please follow that. I know, kids these days love Twitter, love Instagram. Facebook's kind of for like my mom. So if you guys aren't on there, that's okay. But get in contact with us, okay? Stay in touch. You can always email us at enrollme@ashland.edu and then call us. We are working remotely right now. As you can tell, Cheryl and I are both working from our homes. But we have our phones set up to still answer your questions and receive your calls. So please do feel free to reach out to us at any point in time. As a part of Future Eagle Day, one of the biggest things for our students is they actually get to secure their spot in our class with their enrollment deposit. That is still available for you guys right now. I know it's a crazy time, and probably one of the last things you might be thinking about is, I want to submit my enrollment deposit because there's so much uncertainty. Well, we wanted to let you know with that extended deadline of July 1st, you have some time to get your refund back, but it's still going to be a great spot for you to be an Eagle here at Ashland, okay? And there's a ton of incentives that come with the enrollment deposit here at Ashland University. One of the biggest ones for our students continue to be the housing preference, okay? If you have a roommate coming, you know where you want to live, let's get that enrollment deposit submitted as soon as possible so you get all those preferences. Several students anymore are taking College Credit Plus classes, so you want to get pre-registered for those classes that make sense for you. Well, you can only do that by submitting your enrollment deposit at Ashland. And I talked about the orientation dates, coming up in June. There are 5 of them. You want to make sure you get the one that makes the most sense for your summer schedule. Those are all still scheduled to happen. So please do submit your enrollment deposit and get your orientation date selected as well.
And Brooke, we do have a campaign going right now. Some of you, all of you should have received emails from us saying deposit by March 27th, which is today. So if you guys deposit before the end of the day, we'll put you into our drawing for free books for your first semester on campus. So when you're coming to class, you don't have to worry about that. We're going to look at your class schedule. We're going to make sure that we get those books purchased for you. And that is everybody who's paid their deposit up until that March 27th. You'll be entered into this drawing. We'll be starting a new incentive next month. So those type of things, we really want to get you guys excited, to encourage you, and give you that opportunity to join Eagle Nation. I know Brooke and I are both alumni. Same with Jeff, who's going to be talking to us. We're very proud to call Ashland University our home. The fact that we both work here, I just hit my 7 years at the beginning of March. It's crazy to think that I've been out of school for that long, but I did my undergrad, my grad work here. So we're always excited to really encourage you guys and help you take those next steps, but also with that empathy and that compassion, knowing that times are crazy right now. I never thought that I would be Zooming with you guys from my house, but here we are, and we're making it work, and it's going to be great. But at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and answer some of those questions, take any more questions that you guys might have. And if you haven't already, please look in that chat box. I put the Eagle Opportunity link in there, as well as the cheer and dance coaches' contact information. I'll put any more relevant links in there based on the questions that you have. But Brooke and I are going to do a little bit of Q&A. He's going to be the Q, I'm going to be the A, and we're going to get these questions answered before we turn it over to Jeff.
Perfect. I know a lot of you guys did submit questions, so we want to make sure we get them answered as quickly as possible and give you guys good relevant information as well. So I'm going to kind of go down the list of questions that were submitted, and hopefully a lot of your questions will have answers to them now. But like Cheryl said, please submit stuff into the chat box, and we'll get some other ones answered too. So the first question we have, Cheryl, is what is the benefit of a double major versus pairing a major and minor?
Yeah, so with that, the knowledge that you're going to gain in that double major versus a major and a minor. So you're essentially going to be doing 2 content areas. If you do that double major, being qualified, your degree will say Bachelor of Science in specific major A and specific major B, compared to your degree saying Bachelor of Science in Education with a minor in online teaching right now. So it's just going to be that knowledge base that you're going to be able to take into consideration. So either way, it depends on your program, because when you're looking at a Bachelor of Arts, for instance, you're required to have that major and the minor. The minor is already built into your program to make sure that you're not overloading yourself. But a lot of majors do have electives to where if you wanted to turn that minor into a major program, really build up that resume. Some employers might look at it like, okay, great, you've got a major in marketing as well as a major in business administration. So you've got more knowledge in business administration unless you would have done that minor side of things.
And one thing I always talk to students about as well, it's developing different skill sets, right? You want to be marketable to employers and organizations that want to hire you. So you're going to be developing different skill sets, whether you major and minor or you double major in different areas. Another question we have coming in, Cheryl, is, one of the biggest ones is always financial aid, right? And they're going to be on our Future You Go Friday starting next week. So some of these questions will definitely be answered by the experts a little bit more in detail then. But this question reads, when should a loan be secured if I'm starting in the fall of 2020?
Yeah, so for all of your loans, many of you should have already received your financial aid award letter. And on the bottom, you've got multiple bullet points. The first one talks about the loan process. So ashland.edu/student-loans, and I'll go ahead and put that in the chat as well. That will essentially show you what you need to do. It will show those federal direct loans, private alternative loans, parent plus loans. But for loans, you'll do loan entrance counseling, and they recommend doing that around June. And then from there, 10 days before the start of school, that's when your student loan will be credited to your student account.
Great. We have another financial aid related question as well. This one reads, when is the first tuition payment due for the fall of 2020?
Yeah, so you guys will receive a bill from student accounts in July that shows your bill essentially for the fall semester. We only bill you for semesters that you're registered for. So we'll bill you for that first semester, and whether or not you pay the bill up front or you do what we have is a 10-month payment plan, which is also one of those bullet points on your financial aid award letter.
Awesome. Had a couple of these questions come in. One was about being a commuter student. So one was, do you have to have a meal plan as a commuter student? And then, do commuting students get a free parking pass?
Yeah, so you do not have to have a meal plan as a commuter student. You're always welcome to get one. We do have one. It's like an 80 meal plan. Essentially, if you're going to be on campus Monday through Friday, you could grab lunch in our main dining hall, which we call the Convocation Center. You could grab a swipe in the Eagle's Nest. So if you wanted it, it's something you could add on, but it's not required for you to add on. And for parking passes are $80, whether you're a commuter or you're living on campus. However, some of you might be part of that campaign that we ran for local counties. Depending on when you paid your deposit, you could be eligible for a free parking pass. And if you are, we'll definitely let you know.
Awesome. Great. The next question we have, I kind of covered it, but I think it's always good to rehash this, is when does the second part of my application need to be submitted?
Yeah, so for that submission, essentially as soon as you pay your enrollment deposit, we would love for you to submit application part 2, because that's going to be your pre-registration for classes, meaning you can declare your major, you can choose 3 core courses that you'd like to take in that first semester, and as soon as you submit application part 2, your academic advisor gets your information, so they can begin scheduling you when we start scheduling in April. As well as choosing an orientation date. The sooner you do it, the first pick at orientation that you get. And then housing, that's a whole nother part of it. So again, as soon as housing is available to you, fill that out, because it's also run on the same first come, first serve basis. So being able to get on there, put your preferences in, it's going to be beneficial.
Yeah. We actually had our first submitted question from one of our viewers, It reads, how do we access our Ashland email? And this actually also piggybacks off of another question that was originally submitted. How do we go about selecting roommates through our housing application?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so when you're looking at your Ashland University email, and this would be good for you to respond, you should have received an email from us called enrollment deposit received : next steps. In that next steps, it should have given you the opportunity to activate your AU email account. So for instance, it would have taken you to our IT password reset tool or password activation. Essentially, so my name is Cheryl Logan. My AU username is C Logan. So that would be my domain username, and I would be able to go in and activate that account. I would be able to set my password. And the importance of activating the Ashland email is that username and password is going to be the username and password for your Blackboard account, for your WebAdvisor account, for your portal account. Essentially, every account you have on campus, that's what you're going to use that username and password for. So if for some reason you can't find that email, please just send me a chat, let me know, and I will be able to resend that email for you or send you the directions that you need to get in and start accessing it. Now, the majority of the stuff that the admissions office sends, we're still going to send to the email that you applied with. However, academic advising and other on-campus departments, they'll be using that Ashland University email account.
Yeah, it's super important to get that email set up when it comes to scheduling classes and all those sorts of things moving forward. One additional question we have, I know this is really big. I hire all of our tour guides in our office, but when can students start applying for jobs on campus?
Yeah, so students can start applying for jobs on campus through, it's called Career Connect, and you guys will be notified of that. However, just know that a lot of our jobs do not become available until later in the summer. Some students will log into Career Connect because they're so eager and they're so excited, and they're like, great, but then they don't see any jobs. And that's because it takes some employers a little bit more time to see who's coming back for the fall, how many job opportunities that they're actually going to have. But as soon as those come up, one thing, Brooke supervises those tour guides, as you said, we always need tour guides. So we'd love for you guys to be able to come through our admissions ambassador program and then turn into a tour guide, represent Ashland University. But just know that email is big, as again, we're learning right now with all of this online communication, making sure that you check those emails. We're going to send you all of the necessary and relevant and important information that you need so that you can obtain that job on campus. And going through the job application, essentially you apply, you submit your resume, you go through an interview process, and that's whether you're federal work study or regular student employee. So some of you might be looking at that financial aid award letter and see that it says federal work study on there. Whether or not you have that, you can still be employed on campus.
Awesome. We do have another question submitted. Sorry, Cheryl. One student wants to know, when will we know what dorm we are in?
Yeah, so the dorms are actually decided after your orientation dates. Previously, they would decide them in June, but then you guys go to your orientation and you're like, oh my goodness, I just met the coolest person in the world and I'm already assigned to a roommate. Nothing against that roommate that you don't know yet, but now you want a room with this great person that you just met. So they wait till you guys get through orientation to give you the opportunity to actually select your roommate before we select one for you. So I would say look for roommate selections beginning in July, unless for some reason orientations are pushed back due to COVID-19.
We do have a couple of additional questions yet to get answered, but I do want to remind you guys, send your questions into the chat. We're going to get to Jeff here in a few minutes. One of the last questions we have here is, are there any animation programs available on campus?
Yeah, so with animation, we do not have a specific program. We have a digital art class that offers 2D animation, so teaching you some of those techniques, but not necessarily, you're not going to be able to get an animation degree from Ashland.
Good answer. Yep, absolutely. The last question we have here right now that I can see is, I think I've already submitted at part 2 of the application, but I don't know how to know that for sure. How do I go about contacting somebody to make sure I've done that?
Yeah, so with that, contact myself, contact Brooke, or if you already have a relationship with your admissions representative, all you have to do is ask them like, hey Cheryl, I think I submitted it, I'm not sure, can you double check? And we've got a little system that we keep all of that information in, and we can look you up real quick and let you know what you've done, what you haven't done. We also send a lot of email reminders and text reminders. So if we haven't reminded you to do it, that's probably a good sign.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. I think we've answered most of the questions that were submitted previously and then also during our time here chatting back. Do you have another question?
I do have a few questions that it looks like they came specifically to me. So what I'm going to do right now, because a lot of you do have housing questions about how to select a roommate, whether or not there's a platform for students looking for their room. In our housing application, eRes Life, that allows you to essentially select your preferences, but it also encourages you to create an account, kind of like a Facebook account, to where you can get to know your other future Eagles and give you that opportunity virtually to see if, hey, I'm compatible with this person. I think that I would definitely like living with them my first year on campus. So I will go ahead and put that info. I'm putting it in chat right now. So let me make sure I get it to everyone. Might just be going to everyone in meeting. Okay, so you guys should be able to see that. That shows you how to complete the housing app, how to search for a roommate, and how to select a roommate. And then from there, let me just see what else I have. We've got the meal plans, dorms, we've answered that. And offer a little SIS club. What is the Living Learning Community and the Student Services Panel? I'm not sure if we offer a little SIS club, and feel free to elaborate on that because maybe I don't know what a little SIS club is, like a sibling.
I'm thinking maybe that's sororities. Could be something along those lines. We definitely do offer those on campus for students.
And then with the Living Learning Community, so essentially with our Living Learning Communities, you've got the College of Arts and Sciences, College of Health Sciences, business and economics, education. If you choose to live in one of those Living Learning Communities, you would live with those students on the same floor who all have the same interests as you. You would take 1 or 2 classes with them. So you guys would essentially all be on that same page. You're new to Ashland, you're learning, trying to navigate what college looks like and trying to become a professional in this sense. Like, yes, I want to be an educator. I want to join all of these other education students so we can collaborate, we can work together. We can really figure this out as we go through in that first year. Now, Living Learning Communities are only offered to first-year students. So you come in, you kind of get a handle on things, and then you're able to choose your roommate afterwards. But just know that if you choose a Living Learning Community, that trumps everything. So it trumps the preference that you have for your residence hall. It trumps the roommate that you're interested in rooming with. So just being aware of that and knowing Living Learning beats all of it. And the Student Services Panel, that was essentially academic advising. You would hear from Accessibility Services. We've talked with Elizabeth Friend. She is our athletics academic support liaison. You have, I'm trying to think, Brooke, which other areas?
Was Sylvia a part of that as well?
Yeah. And now with that, what we're going to do, as I mentioned earlier, we have multiple Future Eagle Fridays. So for instance, academic advising is going to be one part of that. And that includes the tutoring. That includes essentially all of your academic advisors would be within the Center for Academic Support your first semester as you transition to a faculty advisor in that second semester. But we can answer specific questions that you have. We can also put you in contact with those people because if you were going to see them on campus, I know they would love to talk to you. They would love to answer your questions too.
Yeah. I had one last question before we get to Jeff. Access to the fitness center. Do students have to pay to access the fitness center on campus?
They do. Well, it's included in their cost to attend essentially. So when you're looking at your cost to attend, tuition, room, board, and fees, you're looking at $33,700. And in that fees, you've got your rec center fee, your health center fee, your technology fee. So essentially, once it's included in there, you can access the recreation center whenever you would like to. We've got basketball, volleyball courts, a rock climbing wall, a swimming pool, hot tub, sauna, racquetball courts, all the cardio equipment you can think of, free weights. We even offer fitness classes for you, and those fitness classes are at no additional charge. So if you want to do Zumba, if you want to do a cardio class, spinning, a lot of students like spinning, so being able to get involved and get into that, you're going to have all of those amenities on campus.
Awesome. Well, Cheryl, if you will unshare your screen, students, you guys can still submit questions. We're getting ready to bring in Jeff Alex, our Senior Director of the Alumni Association here on campus. We'll get Jeff unmuted as well, but we're excited for him to join us today and kind of share his experience on campus. It can do for students here moving forward. So Jeff, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you coming here today.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you to Cheryl and Brooke for inviting me, and to all the admissions staff for what you're all doing right now during these ever-changing and challenging times. I can only imagine what this is like for you future Eagles and those considering those college decisions right now. You know, what you're going through is not typical to what a lot of students have in the past, and certainly I'll share a bit about what my experience was in coming to Ashland. Certainly looked a little bit different, but you know, thank you to the admissions staff for what you're doing and connecting, because this is a very important decision for all of you, and one that we don't take lightly in walking with you through this process. So as Brooke and Cheryl mentioned, I am an alumnus of the university as well. I graduated with my undergraduate degree in 2001 and my master's in 2016 in business administration. I am from New Hampshire. I grew up in New Hampshire, and you know, a lot of people ask how I ended up in Ohio at Ashland University, and it's an interesting story, especially given the role that I'm in. But like a lot of students that we hear, how did you hear about Ashland? Well, I know somebody that went to Ashland. A friend of mine went, a family friend went, I know somebody who graduated from there. And even all the way out in New Hampshire, that was my story. A family friend lived in a small town. I grew up in a small town in New Hampshire. He graduated from Ashland, and when I was looking at schools, said, here's where I went to school, you should take a look at it. And I started looking through the information and said, well, this looks like a better college. This looks nicer than the schools that I'm looking at in New Hampshire. We're going to make the 12.5-hour drive out to check it out. And I was a student athlete as well. I wanted to play basketball in college, so came up and visited, met with admissions folks, and talked to the coach. And you know, as the saying goes, the rest is history. Made that decision to come out here, which I look back on that, and it's interesting the decisions that we make at the times in our lives, because who I was as a 17-year-old to make that decision to come all the way out to Ohio, not knowing a single person when I stepped on campus, was, you know, it's interesting to look back on that. But, you know, as our president said, you know, in his video welcome, you know, we believe that everybody that comes to Ashland comes here with a purpose. And, you know, I look back on that, and that was certainly the case for me, even though I knew nobody. When I stepped on campus, that phrase, accent on the individual, had a profound impact. Not unlike a lot of students that come in, that first semester was a difficult transition, especially being so far away from home. But I had faculty members who took a vested interest in me. You know, I'm going to mention a couple names that certainly Brooke and Cheryl are going to know, but Dr. Bob Wetling and Dr. Don Reinhardt are great long-term professors here that they weren't within my major. One taught religion and one taught calculus. I should have never been in his calculus class, by the way, as a communications major, but I had them early on that first or second semester. And those relationships stood with me all the way up until, you know, the last few years when they unfortunately have passed away, but even as my work at the university. Cheryl mentions she had been here starting her 7th year. I am in my 13th year work at the university. And so it's hard to believe how that comes full circle. And, you know, those relationships really grounded me and impacted me and molded me to the work that I'm doing now. And so now to have the opportunity to serve as the alumni director at my alma mater is truly a blessing. And, you know, I started this saying, you know, we had an alumnus, you know, I knew an alumnus who said, here's a great school to look at. Now to be able to go out and speak to the 50,000 alumni that Dr. Campo referenced earlier and share, you know, we all have this Ashland story, and it all weaves and threads and it's all interwoven regardless of when you graduated. And having that experience, it resonates across generations and across our alumni platforms. You know, a quick aside, and this probably leans into, you know, that what does the Alumni Association mean? Even as a prospective student or a future Eagle who hasn't even started and taken one class on campus here, this is what it means. Wednesday afternoon, I got a call from an alumnus who works for Worthington City School District down in Columbus. He knows someone who's going to be coming to Ashland this fall, and she's interested in pre-dentistry. Well, you know, that's not a course that, you know, that's not necessarily a major or a large major here on campus. But his question to me was, do we have anybody that's gone through that program, you know, who was pre-dentistry, even though it's a small major, and has gone on to grad school? And before he even finished the question, I already had an alumna who is a dentist, full dentist, went to Ohio State, went through the dental program, got her degree, and passed her licensure, and is a dentist down in Millersburg. And so her and this future Eagle are going to connect to talk, because she had a lot of questions about what's that like, coming to a school. I really want to come to Ashland, but that's not a large, prominent major or program. And so, you know, we have alumni in every field that you can imagine. And I am quite confident that regardless of whatever you're considering going into right now, I would have at least 2 or 3 alumni that I would know that would be great mentors and great people to connect with if you had questions about what that field looks like. And what I can say to you is that's one of the biggest values that we in the Alumni Association can bring to all of our students, regardless of when you're starting or what year you're in. You know, I'd encourage you not to wait until your junior and senior year to start making these connections and trying to get and build your network. Our alumni love connecting with current students, and those relationships can start your first semester freshman year. We have an online platform that I'd encourage you, once you get to campus, to sign up for. It's our Ashland University Wiser community, and it's an online platform where we're connecting alumni and current students in all areas, not just career, but, you know, first generation or out of state or affinity, what you're involved with, you're a student athlete, or if you want to be involved in fraternity and sorority life, we have those communities built out in there. So it's just one way that our Alumni Association can help our current students. And, you know, I guess I would say that we are here to help you. We have alumni all over the world that are proud of their education at Ashland and that relationship. And that relationship doesn't end when that degree is received, when you walk across stage at commencement. In all honesty, it's just the beginning. And we want to be here to support you along the way. So whatever we can do, please let us know. Stop by the alumni office when you're on campus or in 200 Founders Hall. We'd love to say hello to you. We have a staff that's been there for a number of years. Actually, on my alumni side, I have 2 other people that I work with who have been there both longer than I have in their roles. So we know just about anybody that you need to connect with on campus and off. So certainly let us know whatever we can do to help.
Yeah. Jeff, I do have a couple of questions for you, because I know this is something that, honestly, I was a student at Ashland and I did not take advantage of this. And that's something I always try to tell students and families I visit with. Take advantage of opportunities that are available on campus to you. And I know you talked about those events that you have. Are current students allowed to go to these events and meet alumni? And, like, I know you guys had an event in Columbus a couple of months ago where one of a kid on campus I know by the name of Nick Bass was at. Can you talk about those events and how they're helping our students not only make different connections, but get jobs and all kinds of different things like that?
Absolutely. Great question. Yeah, I have the privilege, I do say it's a privilege, of traveling around the state and around the country, meeting with alumni and sharing updates on what's happening on campus and what's going on with the Alumni Association. Often Dr. Campo travels with us as well. And yes, we do have students that come to that whenever we have these events. We also send it to our current parents that live in those areas. So, that's a great opportunity to even hear more about what's happening on campus, and then to connect with alumni that are in those areas. And when we do alumni events, we are having people that graduated 50 plus years ago, all the way up to, like Brooke mentioned, Nick, who just graduated in May, coming to them. So only been out of school for a few months. And we are looking to expand some of our programming away from some of those just large alumni events. One that we were excited about having, and we're hopeful that we'll still be able to do this, is we have a couple that both graduated from Ashland down in the Columbus area. We're going to host an event for students that are coming to Ashland from that Columbus area as a way to kind of connect and meet each other and build that network in that community that we know is so vitally important when you get to campus. And so while we've had to reschedule that and relook at that based off of the current climate, it's certainly something that we are committed to doing in the future and trying to figure out ways to expand that for our current students.
Absolutely. I know we were excited about I think we called it senior send-off, and our office was going to help with that. We're hopeful that will still maybe happen at some point in time here in this late spring or early summer.
We do a lot of on-campus events too. Homecoming is a really big weekend. It's not just homecoming, it's homecoming and family weekend. And so our current parents and current families are invited to attend. We have events throughout the day that highlight that AU network and that AU connection. And so we will do whatever we can. Actually, I've been working closely with the Student Senate, their Student Senate president, and the senior class president, and others within our student leadership groups about other ways to continue to connect current students and alumni. It's such a great relationship and network. So if there's ever any questions, please pass them along. I can't overstate it enough that this is why we all show up to work every day, and you are the reason why we're here and why we do what we do. And if we can help you make a connection, there is no better feeling for our alumni than to connect with a current student and help them through their journey, because that's what we're committed to.
Yeah. And a lot of you guys that are actually tuned in today probably got postcards from some of our alumni in our ACE program that have went out recently in the mail. So that was in a conjunction with the alumni office here on campus. We appreciate that, Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff, I appreciate you coming here today and speaking with us. And I think our students moving forward are really going to take advantage of the Alumni Association. And we're always so happy when you come and kind of share your experience with our students. So we do appreciate that.
I appreciate that. And Cheryl or Brooke, if you wouldn't mind, please send along my email in the chat, my email. So if any questions come up or anybody needs anything through this transition, we'll be looking forward to seeing all of you, certainly at move-in day, if not before. But at any point in time, reach out to us, and whatever we can do to help, we want to be able to do that.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Thank you both.
Yep.
Sending Jeff's email right now to all of you guys.
Yeah. Fire those questions away to Jeff.
Yes.
Okay. That's pretty much going to wrap our day up here, guys. If there's any last questions, please feel free to submit them. A couple of reminders. I know Cheryl will probably talk about them as well, but we have extended the scholarship deadline until July 1st. So please take those ACTs, SATs, get them to us. It's still a great time to submit your enrollment deposit as well online. Please do that. You can also call in and we can figure a way to get that submitted as well. But we want to get you into our class and be an Eagle this fall here at Ashland.